This is the Cliff Yates Show. Personal growth, motivation, inspiration, and philosophies for a great life.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Cliff Yates Show podcast. As always, you are in the right place. And today we're going to talk about 10 ways to increase the quality of your communication. 10 ways to increase the quality of your communication, because we know that the quality of your life, my life, is a direct correlation to the quality of our communication on two fronts, on two roads: communication with ourselves and communication with other people. All right, let's get after it. Number one, self-awareness and clarity. If we can continuously become more self-aware where we're at, what our current condition is, our current place in life is, and where we want to go, then we can become more clear on our goals. Clarity and self-awareness of our goals, where we're trying to get, what we're trying to become, where we're at currently, and what we need to do to get on the right path to get there, right? We want to know where we need to go, where we want to go, our desire, and what we need to do to get there. And we need the steps to take to start on that journey in the proper order. And then we need to start doing those things. So self-awareness and clarity is going to help us in our communication with ourselves and other people, because we are going to know exactly where we are, where we want to go, and what we are doing to get there. And with the ultimate goal in becoming more. It's not what we get, but it's what we become. That's number one. Number two is building relationships. If we can get better and better at acknowledging other people in our communication, we can deepen our relationships. When we get the focus off ourselves and get the focus on other people and what we're trying to communicate and what they're trying to communicate, our relationships will deepen. They'll be more meaningful. They're going to be more fulfilling for sure, because we are going to have a more serious connection with other people. When people know that they're seen and heard, and we're going to make it very clear and acknowledge them, then they are going to feel a better and deeper connection with us. When we stop worrying about how we're looking or what the other person might think about us, and we're more concerned with what they're trying to communicate and what we're trying to communicate to them, our relationships are going to be so much better, right? People don't care what you know until they know that you care. So we are, as Stephen Covey used to say in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a great book, you should get it. One of the principles that he talked about was seek first to understand, then be understood. Right? If we can first seek to understand the other person, then we can better know how to go about being understood by them. Communication with other people is going to be key. That's number two. Number three is conflict resolution. This is a big one, and this is a skill that we can continually get better and better every day in every way. As a police officer for 35 years, that's one of the things that we get trained on a continual basis to try to peacefully come to conflict resolution. We try every avenue possible, if we can, as police officers, to come to a resolution between conflicts of other people. And we're constantly being called to family disputes, domestic violence calls, neighbor disputes, business disputes. And so conflict resolution really is our number one goal, even before it comes to law enforcement or making arrest. Our primary job every day is conflict resolution, and we try to come to that as quickly and peacefully as possible. And we learn that in police career, but we can certainly learn it in our personal life. And that's one thing about being a police officer. You take those skills home with you, and that's why I want to talk to you about them today. Conflict resolution, it's a big part of being a better communicator, not only with ourselves, but with other people. I remember when I was working for the LA County Sheriff's Department, assigned to the West Hollywood Station and working the Universal City Walk substation, where we worked right at the Universal theme park and also on the City Walk, and we had a footbeat there. And we were constantly being called for conflict resolution situations between either patrons and other patrons of the theme park, or businesses and patrons on the City Walk, or, between business and other businesses. Conflict resolution was a big part of our job. And I remember several times being called, and I was trying to communicate the best possible choice to make in the situation so that both parties could peacefully come to a conflict resolution in the situation. And I was unable to successfully communicate what I was trying to get across. And I was able to call my partner in, and he was such an excellent communicator, and he would quickly come to a conflict resolution where all parties were so happy and we all walked away better for the situation and how it was handled. And I would model what he said and what he did. I would remember the words he said, the tone of voice, his body language. And then in the next situation, I would try to implement those very skills that I watched him implement at the previous call. And you know what? I got better and better at conflict resolution by watching and learning from other people. And you can do the same. Conflict resolution. That's a skill we can get better and better at every day in every way. Number 4 is emotional intelligence. If we can get better and better at managing our own emotions, emotional intelligence, recognizing our emotions and how we may want to react in a situation. But when we're confronted in a situation, if we can see those bubbles of ideas popping up in our brain, and then we can take a pause and make the right choice for a response instead of a reaction, we are going to increase our emotional intelligence. We are going to be so much more aware of the current emotions that we are experiencing. We are going to be better able to respond instead of automatically react in a situation. So we're going to make better choices in every situation. That's emotional intelligence. Very important, and we can get better at it every day. Number 5 is confidence and self-esteem. When we get better at managing our emotions, understanding other people, becoming better listeners, becoming better communicators, we're automatically, as a side effect, going to have self-confidence and self-esteem so that we can go into every situation with calmness and confidence and a high self-esteem, because we may have experience from the past, and if we don't, we can learn from other people. We can learn the skills and strategies that other people have applied in their addressing a situation that we may have never been in. So we can learn either from our own past experience and apply that, or we can learn from other people's experience and their wisdom. We can do that, right, by reading books, watching other people, modeling what they've done, going to seminars and classes. And so there's several different ways that we can increase our self-esteem and our self-confidence. It doesn't always have to be personal experience. It could be from the experiences of other people. Self-esteem and self-confidence, we have the factory to create that every day. Start right now. Number 6 is influence and persuasion. I always talk about such a joy it is to have a positive impact on other people. If you can have a positive impact on someone else's life and the decisions they make, and you played a part in persuading them to make the best possible choice for their life, and it's resulted in something wonderful, and they express that to you, there's no greater joy. So having persuasion with other people to have a positive impact on other people's lives, there's no greater joy. And we start with ourselves. We start by persuading ourselves to make the best possible choice for our lives. And we start by having a positive impact on us. And then we gradually expand to other people, family, friends, associates, people we work with. And we can gradually continue our reach and expand it outward. And that's how we are going to have a positive impact on the rest of the world. Number 7 is problem solving, and you can get better and better at being a problem solver. I remember talking with an LAPD sergeant. We were talking about leadership skills and we were talking about problem solving. And he said, I have the ultimate problem solving formula. He says, the first thing you do is define the problem. Then you come up with a list of remedies and resolutions. And number 3, he said, you take an action plan and apply it to one of those remedies and solutions. He gave the example of you have a flat tire. That's the problem. You've defined the problem. We don't ruminate for hours on end. Oh, why didn't I change my tire? Why didn't I put the proper pressure on them? Why didn't I rotate my tires? I could have changed my tires. No. Define the problem. I got a flat tire. What is a remedy and solution to this? Make a list of those. Number 1, I could change the tire myself. Number 2, I pay for AAA. They could come and change the tire for me. And so then you pull the trigger on an action plan with one of those remedies and solutions. I call AAA, they come out and change the tire. Problem solving. You can apply that same formula to your life. Define the problem, come up with the remedies and solutions, focus on that, and then pull the trigger on an action plan right now to fix it. You can do it. Number 8 is stress reduction. Communicating your concerns and needs and any ideas you're trying to communicate, not only with yourself, with other people. The better you are at that, the less stress and anxiety you're going to have in every situation. You're going to be able to go into every situation more calmly and stress-free when you know you have the communication skills to get across what you need to get across, and you've also learned how to better focus and be self-aware of what somebody else is trying to communicate to you, right? You've already learned how to first seek to understand, then to be understood. You get better each and every day in every way of communicating with yourself and other people. Automatically, in every situation you go into, you're going to be able to remain calm and stress-free. Number 9 is personal growth. Getting better every day in every way. And that's with yourself. That's who we're competing with, right? Don't compete with other people. Compete with yourself. Get better today than you were yesterday. Don't get in the comparison habit of other people. You can model other people. If there's somebody else who's got what you want to get or you want to become what they've become, you can model their thought processes, their behaviors, and that's going to help you by modeling them. But don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to your previous self. That's who you're competing with. You compete with yourself. You can get better each and every day in every way, right? If your back is hurt, you can hardly walk. Do not compare your progress with somebody who's running a marathon. No, try to get to the first mailbox next door. And once you get there, the next day, go to the next mailbox. You are starting where you're at. And then you make slow improvements and progress towards a worthy goal. And that's going to give you fulfillment and happiness. We're going to talk about that. Number 10 is happiness and fulfillment. Hey, Tony Robbins talks about being fulfilled. If you want to be happy, that's one thing. That's a choice. But being fulfilled, you can only get that way by making progress towards a worthy goal. Jim Rohn used to say, set a goal to make $1 million, not for the money, but for what you will become in attaining it. It's not about what you get, it's what you become. Now, we set worthy goals for things because it gets us on the journey. But in the end, if that was all we were trying to do, we would get to where a lot of people do, and that's they get there and they think, is this all there is? They don't realize that the journey was the pleasure. That is where the meat is. It's in the journey. It really is. And when we get our achievements, when we get to a goal and we achieve it, we need to take the time to celebrate that, right? Enjoy that moment. But we don't sit there too long before we have to set the next goal, right? And it's a continuous progress for life fulfillment for the rest of our lives. You never get there to the point where we're done now. No, we're always continuing to grow, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. So we want to continue to grow. That's why people are fulfilled. They're learning a new skill in their 80s, their 90s. They're learning a new language, right? Neuroplasticity is the name of the game. Our brain, our mind is malleable for the rest of our lives, right? Psychiatrists, psychologists used to think In our early development, there comes a point where we're hardwired, and that's the way we're going to be the rest of our life. There's not much more we can do about it. We've already gotten to the point of development where we can't change. No, we can constantly change, learn new things, and expand who we are. Personal growth is going to lead to going after worthy goals, which is going to lead to happiness and fulfillment. These are 10 ways that we can improve the quality of our life through the quality of our communication with ourselves and other people. All right, if this episode has impacted you in a positive way, if it's persuaded you in a positive way, if you've gotten something positive out of it, listen, share it with somebody else you think might need to hear this message, and leave a comment. I always appreciate a comment. Listen, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. You know I love you. I will see you in the next episode.